Mamitakim.
Hiko Mamtakim.
Hiko Mamtakim.
Hiko Mamtakim.
Hiko Mamtakim.
Hiko Mamtakim.
Wikullo Muhammadim.
Vukulo Mahmadim.
Fekullo Muhammadim.
Vukulo Mahmadim.
Fehula Muhammadim.
Vukulo Mahmadim.
Artinya apa? Inilah dia Muhammad. Dia ini pakai isim isaroh muzahar zeh dauti we zehrai. Dia ini kekasihku dan dia ini adalah sahabatku. Benot Yerusalem, putri-putri Yerusalem. Jadi ini untuk Nabi Muhammad. Kata Anda tidak ada, ini untuk Nabi Muhammad. Doa.
So they're doing a word playing. Mahmadim are the same letters as Muhammad, Muhammad. So they want to read into this proof. Again, I mean, I explained what the proof is. It's no proof. I mean, Mahmadim is a Hebrew word that means delightful, sweet. But, you know, it's only, you know, if you believe in Muhammad, you'll then read this into the word. But there's no compelling reason why it is a reference to Muhammad, just because it sounds similar.
Nah, kalau kita melihat ya, kalau kita melihat dari kasusnya ini, dari kasus kata Muhammadim yang diklaim oleh saudara Nandar bahwa itu adalah merujuk kepada Muhammad, ini sangat tidak tepat karena di situ perihal sir hasirim pasal 5 kalau kita baca keseluruhan itu tidak ada nubuatan perihal konteks profetif gitu. Itu nggak ada, jadi nggak ada nubuatan. Jadi di situ menceritakan bagaimana kasih Hashem kepada bangsa Israel ya, terutama kepada Yerusalem. Makanya di situ ada kata benot itu tidak bisa diklaim menjadi cowok gitu loh, karena benot itu adalah perempuan. Jadi kasus ini yang diklaim oleh saudara Nandar ini masuk ke dalam ranah homofon, ejaan yang sama namun memiliki arti yang berbeda. Seperti yang saya jelaskan ya, untuk kasus sirim itu mulai dari ayat pertama lah sampai terakhir ke-16 itu nggak ada istilah untuk nubuatan. Itu sangat tidak masuk akal ya, baik di dalam kalangan Orthodox Judaism maupun juga dalam kalangan Messianic Judaism. Itu tidak pernah menceritakan bahwa perihal konteks ayat keseluruhan itu tidak pernah menceritakan tentang adanya nubuatan dengan datangnya seorang nabi gitu loh.
This one that they claim where Muhammad appears is in the Song of Solomon 5:16. And let me just check something because I believe there is a word that is similar to that. Yeah. I've heard the discussion points.
Is it not necessary to talk with a Muslim, like who knows this stuff?
Well, we're just fact checking at this moment in time. So that's all this video is about. All right. Yeah, we're just fact checking. So Muslims constantly make this argument that Muhammad, the name, appears in the Torah.
I've heard it.
I have access to a Hebrew speaker here who's got the Hebrew in front of him.
But is he that knowledgeable to answer your question?
Well, if he can read Hebrew, I'm sure he can spot the name.
No, but then we call people scholars, isn't it?
So there is no, I'll just clarify, Mo, there is no rabbi alive today that believes that Muhammad is mentioned in the Torah or in the Tanakh.
My point is not that.
Yeah.
My point is if somebody has a question about something, he should go to the authorities.
Bro, with respect, we just want to cut to the facts.
No, they're not.
And we've got the Torah here. Bro, I've said that I will happily.
A Jew and a Christian talking about Islam. Come.
I will come and speak with you. Please stop interrupting.
Well, also, each one of these has actually come up on a page, which I recommend all the Muslims watching.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
I apologise. I thought we were far enough away that you could just talk quietly.
So it's 5:16.
So 5:16. So they again claim that Muhammad is there. So go on, Nick.
So again, this is the word here. So one of the things you have to understand about the Arabic and the Hebrew languages are they are very closely related.
Yeah.
Someone who speaks Hebrew can understand a lot of words in Arabic. In the Quran, it says that someone who believes in the day of judgment, which it calls Yom al-Din.
Yeah.
In Hebrew, the same term is Yom Hadin. The only differentiation is al versus ha for the word the.
Yeah.
Similarly, you have words like tahara, pure like sadaqah. These are all Hebrew words originally.
A bit like English and German and English and Danish. There's a lot of words that I hear in Danish that I recognise in English, and I can also get a kind of gist in German. well, I say a kind of gist. I hear words that I recognise and understand without actually studying the language because they are so similar to the English.
And so, as an example, the name Abdullah means servant or slave, more accurately, slave of God. In Hebrew, Allah is one of the names of Hebrew, and Ebed is slaves. And so you have Ebed, depending whether you're Syrian or not, you'll pronounce that word slightly different. But you have the same language. So you have a name that exists in Arabic, which is very similar to Hebrew. Each word has a root, and from that root you have consonants. So can I, my friend,
stop being rude, please.
Stop being rude. From those consonants, many other words will be formed. So shalom, which means peace. Shalem means complete. And so you'll have words which interrelate. And so the Shadish, the root of Muhammad in Arabic and Hebrew, I assume it's the same, will have multiple meanings. And in Hebrew, and I'll show you here in the text, the word here is Mahamadim. So that's where they're getting. So it sounds very similar.
So they're going based on the sound.
They're going based on the sound and the root of the word. If it was Muhammad, it would be with the. It would be the real word you showed us. Exactly. It would. I mean, you've already got this, but as you can see, it's spelt completely different here. Yeah. There's a vav here. Yeah, so
take the finger away, so we can. Yeah.
Muhammad rather than Mahamadim.
Right.
And so, if the Torah was coming to prophesy, or the Tanakh was coming to prophesy about Muhammad, you would assume it would be very direct and it would actually name the name, rather than alluding to the verse, which ran in context makes no sense. And actually, if it's a verse which is praising God, which many people will read it that way, by ascribing Muhammad to that name, you're actually partnering Muhammad with God and saying they're interchangeable, which for a Muslim is very problematic because you're not allowed to make partners with Allah.
Absolutely, and the as I understand it, I mean, because the false friends exist in other kind of languages. I'm trying to think in terms of a false friend, because I know Spanish and English. And I am literally now just trying to find a false friend. Two words that sound the same but are used completely differently in the two different languages. And the only one that jumps to mind, so it's quite a poor example, I will accept, but it illustrates the point that I think the brother is trying to make, is the word amiga. In Spanish, amiga means my girlfriend or a girl that is a friend. Yeah? Whereas amiga in English is a proper noun to an actual computer called the Amiga. These words sound identical, but in English it's a proper noun, and in Spanish it's not a proper noun, it is a adjective. It is an adjective. So is that what you're describing here? That these words sound the same, but really are different?
Yeah, absolutely. So if similarly, if you'll find names in Hebrew which will relate to other gods in pagan society. It doesn't mean that those pagan gods are found in the Torah. It's the commonality and the similarity of language. And Hebrew and Arabic are very, very similar.
Is there a Hebrew word that means mouse or to destroy or something that's very similar to akbar in Arabic?
So that's, yes.
What's the Hebrew word?
So mouse, I believe, is akbar.
Akbar.
I just want to check that though, because my
please
Hebrew
check it. If it's all right, we'll fact check him while he's studying, because I never know when I'll get to speak to this guy again. So, and while he's doing that, go on.
So here's the word,
and it says akbar.
Yeah. So
zoom in. No, he needs to zoom in. He needs to zoom in. Yeah, just hold it. We'll zoom in.
This one here.
Yeah. Akbar, and it's pronounced akbar.
Yep.
Right.
Akbar.
So every time, if we use the phonetic false friend logic of the Dawah team, every time, and therefore every time we hear something that sounds like Muhammad, it must be Muhammad. Then every time we hear the word akbar, we must assume it means mouse. Now, obviously, this is nonsense. This is not the point the brother's trying to make, because I'm sure as a linguist he appreciates the differences in languages. I'm someone who knows multiple languages, and I wouldn't make that point either, because I understand what a false friend is. Just because two words sound the same doesn't mean they are the same. So in the same way that Muslims aren't crying out, Allah is a mouse, they aren't crying that, they're shouting that Allah is great. Yeah? In the same way, in the same way, just because something sounds like Muhammad doesn't mean that it's Muhammad.
I'd actually
If
go
anything
one
you want to
further.
add
Yeah,
to
the
that,
thing
or-
I would, if you believe that the Torah is tarif, is corrupted as a Muslim,
Yeah.
it makes absolutely no sense to go to the Torah and to prove your religion from something that you already believe is corrupted.
Absolutely.
So if you're a Muslim,
Mate, just
come on.
Keep going, bro. Don't invite him in. I'm going to go and talk to this heckler soon. I'll go. He'll have his day in court. You continue. You continue.
So my point is, if you're a Muslim and you believe the Torah hasn't been corrupted, then Mazel Tov. Verify and validate your own religion all you like from my religion. I'm happy with that. If you believe my religion hasn't been corrupted and you want to say, look, my book talks about Abraham and your book talks about Abraham, isn't that great? Fantastic. If you think my book has been contaminated and corrupted, why on earth would you use it to try and validate and verify your own religion?
Yeah.
And this is one of the things I really don't get. And what it becomes selective. Then you start saying, well, the bits that validate my religion, they're kosher, they're halal.
Yeah.
But the bits that don't validate my religion, like which of the sons was sacrificed, well, then that's corrupted.
Yeah.
It's like, who are
It's
you
a
to decide?
subjective
Exactly.
reasoning, isn't it?
And
It's like it's self-validating reasoning that isn't objective. Because they launched the same criticism against Christians, and the reality is that there's absolutely no evidence at all. None has been provided of an Islamic Injil. No evidence. It's just a claim in the Quran, unsubstantiated. It's floating around in the Afira with nothing to concrete to history.